It's been my honor to work with you these many months as we are continuing our journey together. I'm so grateful and thankful for the friendship that we've built, and just wanted to share how much I love you, and just wanted you to know how much I appreciate the ability that we have and the openness and friendship that we have in working together.
It is reciprocal and equally thanked.
Thank you. Um, we had a few questions that I was hoping that you could assist us with at this time, if it's for our highest and best good. But before I get into those questions, can you just take a quick look at Beth's body and see if there's anything that needs attending to?
There's something in the nape.
Oh, in the
And
nape? I
yeah,
see.
and general malaise, general fatigue.
Is that because of the energy that's coming in with the galactic codes that have been coming in and the higher frequency? Is that her body trying to assimilate that?
Yes, partially.
What can we do to assist her with what's happening at the nape of the neck?
Wendy, we allow you to take her on a journey to explore that further.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that journey. Is that a cord that we need to follow through?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and follow that cord. Going through time and space, drifting, floating on a cloud, following that cord to the divine destination to determine what is happening. Let me know when you arrive.
There's a lot of fire in the sky. There's fire, there's smoke.
And where is she at in this fire? Is she watching it from below, or is she in the sky?
No, there's a town, a very wooden, very sort of um, highly populated place where she is dwelling, where there's conflict and darkness, and it's a time of warfare.
Okay. What year is this?
1739.
In today's map, what country is this and city?
I guess Belgium, someplace German, not clear.
Okay, that's fine. And what is her role in this place that she's got issues in her current body with the nape of the neck?
There seems to be some sort of like a butcher shop where there's cutting of meat and organs and stuff like that.
Okay. And what happened to the neck?
That's not clear.
Okay. What can we do to heal it? Do we need to give some peace and non-war to this being, this individual that's connected? And is this her own past life, this cord?
Yes, this is a past life that could be examined further.
And is this a male or a female at this butcher shop?
There seems to be a female related to this environment.
Is this journey also partially what she was intending when she was asking for a
Yes,
similar situation
yes.
to go through? Okay, let's examine this further then.
Mhm.
How was looking at this life going to provide guidance to her current situation with the struggles that she's going through?
This is a difficult lifetime. It's a difficult lifetime to be a woman. Dark time, very male dominated. Dark in the sense that there was little of the divine feminine in her world, very little beauty, very little of what feeds her in this lifetime, her current lifetime.
Yes. And where did she get her strength from, having to deal with all of those negatives in that life?
We are sensing like small ones, small children being a source of light. It's difficult for her too. She needs a little more time to develop this. It's not so easy just to have all the answers.
Yes.
It's a journey, as she says.
And we know that this is a journey that she decided, is this a repeat journey for her? Has she made this contract previously and is trying a new version of it? Or is this
Uh,
a
yes.
a redo?
There's a sense of it's not clear, but it seems that she had some difficult partner who I can't tell if she did away with him and therefore is dealing with the same dynamic now. And being stuck is a very feeling stuck, being stuck, taking on a life that seems almost like there's no end game, there's no way, despite all of the movements and positioning to move out of the oppressive situation.
And does she have a door that she can step past this stuckness?
In that lifetime, she did not have a door.
And in this lifetime,
In this lifetime, she went through the door.
she went through the door. So she's on the other half of the most difficult part. Is that correct?
Yes, but the darkness is still shrouding her because of her karmic escape last time was not finished.
And what steps does she need to take now to remove some of that darkness from the karmic residual? Is that something that I can assist her with releasing at this time?
Yes, it's a reconciliation, a very, very heavy load that's been difficult and that she's been bearing most of her lifetimes on this earth. She's grown used to it, but it's a very heavy load.
Let's see what magic alchemy can we do to release and alleviate now that this earth is moving into a brightness with the higher frequencies. What can we do to bring her to those higher frequencies and alleviate this density, this dark karmic debt or residuals from this debt?
These are movements. Movements are needed. Actions and movements are needed.
Okay. And so when Beth is walking her dog, can we use that as actions and movement, or is there another meaning behind that?
That as well as movement now with you, with your powers and your intervention and your love and kindness as a friend.
Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and let's speed up that movement just a smidgen. We want this dimension to be bright as quickly as it can. And of course, in a gentle and loving manner. Not, we don't want to have any hurtful aspects to this work. We want it to be healing and soothing, asking forgiveness, granting forgiveness to ourselves, to our partners, to our collaborators. And how does that look now?
There's like a valley. There's a green valley, a green sense of like gathering and union and fertility and growth where things come together, where there's joy and life.
Beautiful. Will this begin to bring her new growth to her experience now?
Yeah.
Thank you. And that abundance that has been lacking, is that going to start to show itself
Yeah.
and manifest?
Yeah.
Thank you. And will that same opportunity happen for myself as well?
Yours is here. We see a river for you, a bright, moving river, very clean water, just overflowing and moving with lots of dynamic.
Beautiful. Thank you. Do we need to stay in this life with the fire anymore, or can we release this and come back?
Yes, this can be released.
Okay. Let's go ahead and travel in time and space back to the here and now and releasing this energy from the nape of her neck. Thank you. And what do we need to fill that area back in with?
Peace and pink ray and
Peace. Anything else?
wholeness. Wholeness. It's wholeness. To whole. To feel whole.
Okay. And let me know when that's done.
Seems to be done.
Thank you so much. Can you take a look at what's happening with my neck? I've noticed that I've been getting a lot of irritation, possibly from sitting at my desk for long hours.
Um, yes, it's like an inflammation, a point of addressment you need to address, almost like a spotlight or a point of light where you need to look. It's on your upper left part, just like Beth nape, upper left nape, very high up on the head.
Can
Yes,
you take a look further and see what is that spotlight that my body is trying to bring my attention to?
yes, there's sense of headache, um, deep, deep, complex, like a knot of focus that has to do with focus. Yeah, something having to do with like maybe like looking so much at something, becoming obsessed, becoming focused, being something that, yeah, like a thought that has become obsessive and turned into something of it unto itself to be removed.
Can you remove this thought?
Yes, this is being surrounded with. There's some really beautiful carnation, like the color of a carnation and white.
Thank you.
Beautiful red, a beautiful white surrounding this. A very kind of a dramatic color to help with the drama of this intensity. Mixed in with white, a very beautiful mixture, very pointy and but yet soft, like the petals of a carnation, and focusing inward and poking at your knot, undoing it, unraveling it, softening and releasing and allowing that this complexity to spread itself out, becoming less complex, becoming more light, softened, transmuted.
Thank you.
You yourself are forgiving and allowing. And the focus that was founded in an intention, which was of a good thing, but went awry, is now being rectified, emoliated, softened, refreshed, and now transmuted into liquid color that is now flowing, and you decide to direct where this goes.
And is this a release then? I
Yes,
can go and release it.
you decide where it goes. It can flow to where you want. Release it to where you wish.
I would love to release it to I would like to release this actually to the galactic and ask for their assistance in transmuting it and changing that energy into light and love.
Very good. We're seeing that the sun is helping in this process as sort of a filter, as a focus way, and now headed towards the galactic team. There's a sense of unmaking this and transforming, and light is now being released to source.
Thank you. And this energy that's creating coughing, is my throat chakra experiencing blocks from the work that I just recently did with another?
Yes, yes, there's fire, there's smoke. Is that possible?
Yes. Is this something that I need to release?
The coughing is helping you release. You are allowed to cough, you're encouraged to cough, and you may fully release now in this state the residuals of that. Was it a healing process?
Yes, it was a healing with a
Healing,
lot of, you know
very
what? It actually, if you want to connect to that healing that I did, there was a very strong release that was ancestral in many generations of a woman, and using her voice, she'd locked it up within herself. And then as she opened up her voice, all of that energy came forward in such strength and in such sadness and in such, finally, I get a chance to say my piece, that it's started to make me want to cry. So I imagine that I must have also had those lives and was feeling that sense of clearing wanting to come from me as well.
The repression. We call upon all the repressive lifetimes, the repression, the sense of weight. This seems to be a theme today, the weight, the bearing down upon you, especially in the female lifetimes. Repression, repression. You are allowed now. Just like the grass, the freshness of nature, allow that to be transmuted as spring, the growing of things breaks through that oppression, that weight, breaking through, bringing light, bringing smell, bringing earth, the crumbling earth. Very good. Breaking up that weight, breaking that up, that oppression, breaking up years, lifetimes, oppression, and weight upon you breaking apart, just like erosive little roots going in, breaking up in a small molecular way. Everything is dissipating, falling apart, and now becoming smaller, smaller, diminishing, diminishing. That is formulating into small pieces that you're able to just cough away, wipe away, breathe away, shush away, using your mouth, your throat, your ears, your eyes, bat it away with your eyelash, release with your fingers, flick it away.
Okay, very good. And as I'm brushing mine off, I'm brushing off Beth's as well.
Thank you.
And then does Beth have any other energy that she's holding in her body?
There's a white shard, some sort of a white shard. It looks like a feather. It could be a shard on the left side of her brain. Point of light. It's not necessarily negative. It's to do with allowing light in. Just needs to be adjusted and expanded. It's
Can we
sort
go
of
ahead and adjust and expand?
yes.
Let's do that now.
Ooh.
Gently.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
Lovely. And how does that look now, that white shard?
Like beautiful. It's now a cosmic
Wonderful.
expansion.
And am I experiencing any blocks from any residual clearings and missions that I was recently on? Any implants?
Just activating and flowing away.
Okay. Thank you.
And now we may do the same for yourself.
Yes, please.
And scanning. There seems to be like a superficial accumulation on you, Wendy. Sort of like, like the surface of a raspberry. Very rounded, very.
Yes, I know exactly how you mean.
Yes, that needs to be smoothed and removed.
What is that from?
Your work with people. It's a form of like a gateway, like a shield.
So it just needs to be cleared, just cleaned up
Like
and
a
kind of sparkled.
pre-screening shield.
Gotcha. And am I doing enough
Oh,
shielding when I'm working with people?
yes, it's actually exactly it's being cleared. It's actually being washed like with river, like spring water.
Okay.
Very clean, very clear. What was once a place where the residue would catch is now a place of many vortexes and vitality and points of energy. Imagine lots of little whirlpools all surrounding your surface. Little whirlpools of energy and
Okay.
light moving and reflecting.
I'll think of it like a buffer. Like these whirlpools will be like an electric buffer that just kind of goes.
Exactly, exactly. It's been transformed into a place where things get caught, into where they are rebounded and reflected out.
Okay. And is that what this sharp pain is that I'm experiencing in my hip, in the front part of my hip where my leg and hip connect?
That is something else. That's a coming together of energies. It has to do with a wound.
With the moon energies? Is that the feminine goddess work that I was doing yesterday?
Yes. Yeah. If the focus on that area could help cleanse and clear the moon, yes, very good. And that was something that was inflaming your progression.
Inflaming it?
Yeah, like inflammation, like,
Yeah. So trying to slow down my my progression?
I don't know if it's the speed or anything like that as much as it's like the direction. Like you can allow the direction to go where it needs to go. You don't have to control or pivot or fight against any direction that you go. Allow that to go forward, because the more you fight against it, it's like having a wound with something in a wound, and the more you move.
Is that related to the Mount Shasta event?
Yeah. In the sense that the direction, it has to do with direction, and the direction you want to take it is well intended, yet you have to release and allow things to move the way they go, otherwise it will hurt you. It's time to remove that thing that will hurt you. Removing it. It's almost like there's something stuck in your hip, like a sword or something. I
Can
think
you
it's time
can
to
you
remove that so
trace
that
yeah, can you trace that and see? Because I have been, I feel
I
like I'm
want
like,
you to visualize it. Yes, it's time for you to visualize it. Look at it.
okay, on the right side or the left
Can you,
side?
we're seeing the left side. Is that
Okay.
correct?
Yeah, that's where I experienced it in my left
Looking at
lower
you.
back behind me, where my hand is. I often have to kind of like here, just right there. Did you see it? When I like elongated and stretched it out here in my lower back, kind of in my hip area.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And that seems to
Uh-huh. Exactly.
it's
It's like a long thing, like a sword.
what is that from? Is that a past life?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And let's go ahead and pull that sword out, releasing any
Look at
energy.
it as you do so. Look at it and describe to us yes, what does it look like? That
It looks like
sword.
a long sword,
Can you see it?
not a dagger, but a
What's
long
the hilt
sword,
look like?
golden with the
Okay,
handle,
what does that hilt look like?
with like the ribbing on the handle, and it's got like a golden, like a little teapot, a, a saucer cup, like a teacup that your hand would fit inside of to hold.
Yeah.
It has like a brass fitting at the end of the sword so the hand doesn't slide down the sword. So it's a stop. And then
Uh-huh.
there's like a little
Uh-huh.
ball at the end of handle that kind of has a curve to it. And I don't, why am I able to describe it to this extent? And the sword
Because
itself
this
has
is
some kind of,
yes, this is there's a reason for this.
and
This is
the
something
sword
that you can use.
itself, there's a
Yeah.
decorative writing or scroll, something to like an embellishment of this is a special kind of a sword or something like a ceremony
Right.
sword.
So look at it. Look at it carefully. Remember that. This is something you can work with in your future
Okay.
meditations. Look at that. Now, instead of like transmuting and releasing, we're going to pull this out and lay it before you for
Okay.
you to contemplate and to keep with you for a while.
Okay.
There's messages to be had. You may even handle it. You may even hold it if you feel so compelled, and examine how you feel. Very good. Examine how you feel. What comes to you? What visions? What does this mean to you?
Mm. I feel like it's backstabbing to me when and it may be others stabbing me in the back or me stabbing others in the back with words. It may not be necessarily a physical sword that was being used.
Maybe this is something to keep for a little while and examine and see how it manifests before
Okay.
completely erasing, because there are messages here. There's things to learn. And though it will not impede you anymore, we have released you from that. You have released yourself.
Thank you.
That pain and that
And what What
We
do
are
I
going
need
to
to
now fill. What would you like to fill that space? Yes, this is a
Yeah, that's what I
question
was.
to you. What do you need?
Yes. I need golden light. I need golden light. I need divines that silver blue, angelic blue
Oh, very good.
to recharge my being, to heal
Mm.
those old wounds, to support me in the healing work that I continue to do and the difficulties that I will face going forward. I feel the divine love.
Mhm.
I don't really understand completely this release. What what is causing this emotion?
It's not to know now. Allow it. Allow it. There's a view upward of the sky with almost sense of divine wings, eagle wings, wings very strong, powerful, flexible, feather covered forms coming and surrounding with the very fluid and protective movements surrounding you. Big, beautiful sky, beauty beyond this protection, this strength, this power, this loving embrace, unconditional, soft, fascinating, and totally familiar.
It feels calming. Thank you to my brothers and sisters for assisting. Does any of that energy have to do with my father just recently passing?
Yes, there's a very strong forward movement coming from him, very strong impulse, sledding motion, smooth over a surface, propelling you forward, very loving, very smooth, aerodynamic, propelling you with great grace, speed, force, love, very clean and clear.
Was that the unbinding of my heart that I needed to let go?
Yes,
And that sword was related to that?
it was the pin, so to speak. You know, when you pull a pin on a grenade and it just blows up? That kind of,
Yes. Had I put that in there in my own self?
yes, that is her job.
Okay, I will contemplate it further.
Yes, and just like anything that's been broken apart, you can put yourself back together again slowly and in a beautiful process, knowing that everything is going well. Everything is as it should be.
Is this the same experience that my sisters are having? Is this a question that you can answer?
Yes, I'm sensing that it's an unmaking and remaking again. It's not a comfortable process, but it is one that it's sort of a recycling process where you are remade and renewed in a new and beautiful way. Evolution.
And have they released what they need to release now as well?
Yes, it's been transmuted and things are now beautiful. You may continue to contemplate that pin, that sword. That's something you may take and reappropriate into your new self.
Thank you. Thank you for that understanding. Is there anything else physically going on with Beth that we can help her with that fatigue?
There's a point in her third eye.
What's happening there, please?
It's like vision is one of like smoke. Like it's not.
Can I bring in some violet wind to clear that out?
Yes, that was perfect.
And how is that now?
Much more vital, much more movement, much more.
How is my third eye looking for its activity?
Yeah. Say well. Yes, purple as well. Also being activated with the violet flame, vibrant and flamey, very vital. These are fine. With your raspberry shield of water vortexes and this new evolved self and this bright violet flame where the third eye is. We see dynamic, beautiful light extending from you.
Thank you. Is there anything further that you can tell me at this time about um, Beth's shielding? Is her shielding and girding still in place?
Mm, It's still, it hasn't even, it is at the moment stable, unbinding.
Yes, because I understand that as she began to increase her frequency and was able to hold more light, that the girding would not be needed anymore. Does that make, is that?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And how are Beth's air chakras looking? Are they activated?
There's like puffing. Yeah, like a train. Yeah, they're fine. They're moving.
Okay. And how are mine looking?
Very good. Very vital.
And the filaments that were put into my ears, what percentage of completion are they?
A lot. There's a lot.
And that's for my ability to connect with the galactics for understanding and channeling light language.
Yeah, very intensified at your being and then goes outward.
Beautiful. And what is the tingling I'm getting at my toe right now?
The connection with the galactics and how it goes through. It's like a circuitry system. And the feet are a very sensitive part of the body. And your toe, your big toe.
Yeah, it was.
Big
My,
toe is, yeah, like kind of an antenna to that.
oh, very exciting. I always figured it was uploads coming into the body from the left foot, but it's not usually the big toe.
Oh,
It's usually,
it goes in one, it goes out the other. Is that correct?
yes, that is correct. Feel that clearing in my heart chakra.
It was like an explosion.
Yeah, it was. It just was like boom. Like my heart was like boom all of a sudden. Wow. What was that? Was that because of the clearing of the sword?
Yeah, it was a very refined sort of process where one fine manipulation triggers the activation of another, bigger, more complex, heavier process. Imagine like surgery or something where you're focused
Yeah.
over here and it creates a result over there.
So let me ask you about my sinuses before I go to Mount Shasta questions. Why do I continue to have um like an allergic reaction to dust where I go to sleep at like I'm fine during the day, I might get draining, but then at night I lay down and then phew, like I'm completely stuffed up and then I wake up in the morning and then it starts to drain again. So what exactly is happening in that cycle? Is that old programming that can be released?
Yeah, that's very good. Your intuition, your instinct is correct. It's the heavy 3D, the the very physical things around you, the very essence of life is burdensome to you as you want to move forward into the spiritual realm, and you have to forgive yourself for being in 3D and assimilate and to accept, and this will subside.
Okay. Are there any words that will work for me to help me with that I can say maybe before I go to bed? Should I just say I forgive myself for being in 3D?
For being 3D,
For being 3D.
being of dust, being of the substance of
Oh.
dimension. It is what you are. And it is from where you come and it is from where you go.
Now I understand that when I was at Serpent Mound with my husband, that he became activated, that his awakening happened. Can you elaborate on that for me?
Very beautiful activation, very beautiful, very kind of a cylindrical movement, very warm, very lovely, like a birth of a star, very warm, also like the sense of a fire in a forest, in a very dark place, coming to life and warming all the beautiful green and vegetation surrounding
Mm.
the darkness. Very beautiful sense of geometry, lots of geometry, lots of converging of angles in a very beautiful way. Movement, dynamism, geometric patterns that are very beautiful, almost decorative in nature.
Mm.
Very, very tied to the earth, especially to that area. His ancestors were from there. This is a place that where he belongs. The place where he can step and reclaim energies because it is his inheritance, so to speak. It's an area that,
So he said that he heard drums,
yes,
and it's interesting that I heard drums on my awakening while I was in South Dakota, and then he heard them while he was in Ohio. And he goes, "Oh, did you hear the drumming?" And while I was playing the flute, and I said, "No." And then it reminded me immediately of my own awakening that I heard drumming, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, that's got to be your ancestors calling you."
exactly, exactly. And that was, you are together for this reason. You reverberate and you help each other in this way. That's why you are able to help him experience, to remind him, and to clarify to him what has happened.
Beautiful. And what tribe was his ancestors?
Hopewell or the Hopewell or the very, very old. It's a very old.
Like
It's
a
almost,
Hope, like the
yeah.
Hopi Indians?
No, no, not Hopi. Hopewell. It,
Hopewell?
even prior to the Hopewell, it's ancient. It's not even in the history of.
Oh, gotcha. Is it Hopwell?
Yes, Hopewell
Okay,
or prior to Hopewell, the ancestors to Hopewell.
very cool. And we were trying to figure out what exactly are those mounds and serpent mounds? Were they for protection or were they?
It's a magnetic grid. It's a manifestation of magnetic acknowledgement. It's the point of energy, point of connecting with the greater, higher spiritual forces. It is a message to them, a connecting point between the mortals and the divine. This is, in a sense, a message. It is a message, an acknowledgement.
And I thought maybe it was like crop circles and the magnetic or the crop circle showed up there and then they decided to mound it on top of where that design showed up.
Very good. The crop circles are the same thing, a magnetic message that reverberates the point of communication with the divine.
And are Beth and I receiving magnetic messages like this?
Beth is getting involved. She says, I hope so. Yes, you are. You are.
And is that and is that where channeling comes in, or is this where our divine gifts come in?
Yes. At the moment, you are in receivership, both of you. You are in receivership, and those messages and gifts we will activate at the appropriate time. We will help you to release the clarity, release the information.
Okay. And I was told that I was being activated to write and channel light language and understand it and translate it more readily. If you were to give me a percentage, I noticed that I'm doing the writing more. The flow is much easier now. But the translation of light language, either that I'm speaking or listening to, I'm still struggling with a little bit. So I'm wondering what percentage am I at?
You will get like 39, 45. You're still developing it, and you're doing the correct things in order to increase it.
Okay. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. And if I can ask some specifics about the Lemurian call to action. am I going to be getting Lemurian downloads, or do I need to ask my ancestors so that I understand
Of course
that
you are.
word?
Mm-hmm.
Have I received those yet, and I have to unpack them, or
You don't worry about it. Yes, don't even worry. It will activate, as we said, it will activate at the appropriate moments. You're doing everything necessary and positive in order to facilitate the process. Any anguish or overthinking it could affect it, so just let it flow. Just allow it to take its journey, and don't be too eager to get to a final point, because it's the journey that is rich.
yes,
So don't forget that. That's most of this preparation for what you think is an event is actually the event itself.
so the actual being there and the event.
Well, for you, the process of developing this project is a very beautiful and enriching process for you. It's almost the event for you. When you arrive to the actual time in your 3D where you enjoy this event, it's
Yes,
just be a step towards what will continue and grow, and a point of celebration and coming together, of course. But you are on a journey, and your journey is to not be overlooked.
yes. Trust me, I have appreciated each step of the preparation along the way to create it, and you
But there,
know,
there is meaning in each moment. It's not like it's all going to happen at one time. It's happening now. There's meaning in this moment. There's meaning in every step towards it. There's a lot to, as you say, unpack if you want.
yes, because I feel like there others' excitement, questioning the speakers coming together, the synchronicities of that just happening. Like it just seemed to flow so easily. Like I just thought about it and it happened. So,
Mhm.
you know, that instant manifestation, so to speak, was incredible. And of course, now I'm, hemming and hawing over the actual logistics of will there be too many people and how am I getting them there? And, is there going to be enough parking? Any advice for me
Yes,
to not be spinning that around in my head?
that's part of it. That's part of it. Because the rushing of thoughts, the hemming and hawing is a process that you can decide. You can bring that energy of hemming and hawing. You can bring the energy of practicalness to the journey if you so wish.
I see. And what am I getting in my crown right now? There's some kind of a download that's happening.
It's a tool
Oh, thank you. I love tools.
to, yes, it's a some sort of a feather or something for you to just brush away the worry. It's like one of those dusters, those
Oh
feather
yeah,
dusters.
like a feather duster. It's like,
Yeah,
why
you just
worry?
wipe it away. Bring that out when all of that, to wipe away whatever you do not want to add to your project.
Gotcha. And has my father been quick question about my father with his recent passing. I don't know if he's able to come through to talk yet, but his are these sunflowers his messages to me?
Yeah, he's messaging you constantly. He's very happy to be close to you now in this way. He's almost more happy than ever to be close to you in this way
Yeah.
and enjoying watching you and co creating with you and loving that you see these messages that he sent.
Yeah. I it was hard for my sisters to understand the aspect of that I didn't need to be there for his last moments, that my role was holding space. And I don't think they understand that from a human side of view. And I think that was an aspect of what I was holding on to that was hurtful as well,
Mhm.
that I needed to work through. And, it took me several weeks, but I think I'm in a good spot.
Yes, Very good.
Is there any message that he would like to share with them?
The compassion towards your sisters, your love towards them, to feed them with like envisioning, sending them like nurturing, like almost like milk, something sort of
Gotcha.
soothing and maternal, and not that you're their mother, but something along those lines of very soothing things that soothe a child.
And I'll do that for
Because
the etheric.
yes, because they're very upset and they're
Yeah.
looking for forms of um, like accentuating that inflammation to
Yes.
ramping it up as opposed to relieving it. So you can imagine that beautiful white enclosing and healing and sort of equalizing.
Thank you. And then for my brothers,
Your brothers are very noble. They have, yeah, we're seeing like, yeah, like a pack of men that have lost their leader, sort of, or lost some guidance, but also with all the tools to move forward, very prepared in many ways. Yeah, like without a little bit, without like a without a rudder, sort of, but they're fine. They're in a good process. They're okay.
all right. Thank you. I appreciate that advice. Sometimes it's difficult as we're all kind of going through this from our own different points of view. And of course I question, should I have been having that conversation? It felt like it was okay to have. It's how I felt. It's, from everything that I know is you need to express your feelings. You can't tie them and lock them up and say that didn't happen or that wasn't the reality of what happened. To be able to express them, to see them and to experience those emotions is the way to move beyond them. Not to say, well, I don't believe what you believe or you don't believe what I believe, and then to argue about them.
Right.
So, and I know that with my one sister, I tried to say that, I understand that you have a very different experience than I did, and I'm sorry that you're feeling hurt over our conversation about our experience with our father. And it was very upsetting to her in the way that he had just been buried, and she felt like, why weren't we mourning over him? But it was more deep than that. The wounding was more deep than that.
Yes.
I feel a release of energy with that, so that
Very
was
good.
nice.
Very
Expressing those words in that manner in this session with the both of us was very helpful, so thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Very good. You did a very good job.
Is there anything else I need to know about the Lemurian event?
We're getting like, oh, I'm seeing like the pause between the Sphinx.
A what?
Like, imagine you're standing, that Sphinx in Egypt,
Oh, yes, yes, yes. The Sphinx.
and you have like the paws of the Sphinx. Like,
Yes.
imagine yourself positioned right within there. Like, if you were a little bitty kitten, you would be positioned there at the chest of the Sphinx, looking
Okay.
outward, those big
Yes.
paws, looking outward to the sun, to the sky. There's, yeah, I think it's almost like there's some guidance there, or some protection, there's some mystery, there's some message, there's a
Okay.
call from Egypt, sort of. Yeah, a reminder of Egypt. I don't know. Maybe that's your Ra.
Yeah, I think that's definitely my raw.
No, maybe it's Beth saying, but maybe there's a speaker in relation to that that's yet to come on the scene or something.
Yeah, that I mean the speakers have been just lining up, so
Hmm.
they've come so quickly.
Well, there you go. If you need to filter, look for one having to do with that.
Okay. I will I will look into that further. And are there any ascended masters that want to give us advice at this time?
Beth is needing some help.
Beth needs some help.
Yeah,
Okay. What does that help?
like she can't, like she feels like she's stuck. She can't give the information.
Okay. And who can assist her with that?
Maybe Raphael.
Raphael? Is that stuckness still related to that energy, that karmic energy that she felt was around her?
Sort of, yeah. It has to do actually not so much. She needed the green to help her visualize. So now that there's lots of green healing energy of Raphael, the feeling of masters, ascended masters, and guides feel more present, feel more accessible. And there's one. What is that one? He is an ascended master having to do with like geometry and stuff.
Metatron with
Yeah,
geometry?
yeah, I think it's Metatron. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for myself,
Yeah, it's for you. That Metatron is for you.
Metatron is for me. Okay. Are we just not connecting with them enough?
No, it's just a awakening and an acknowledgement and a visitation.
Okay. So we'll ask for their assistance before sleep.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, perfect. And how's Beth doing? Are we assisting with the fatigue that she and I have been experiencing, where it's just kind of like it's a bit of a struggle to get through the day?
Yeah, there's like almost actually there's something else we could release. It's almost like sort of like sheet like for both of us. Yeah, like the part like your corset, the girding. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like shifting out of that heaviness, almost like imagine a landslide where
yeah,
like all this weight and suddenly there's just a moment of release and it just
yes.
all slides out. So that's what we're being gifted right now.
Very good. Thank you. And what is the buildup of energy that's happening in the nape of my neck right now?
That yeah, I think it's like a response to the explosion of all that.
The earlier heart thump that I got.
Yeah, it's like when you have every action has a reaction.
Yes.
So it's just that reverberating. Allow it, expand it, enhance what you're feeling there. Let it like, what do you call it? Like, let it ring out to the universe. Spread it out, then expand it outward. Knowing that when sound waves hit each other, and you see all that reverberating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just let it keep until finally it just slows down and diminishes.
Thank you. Whew. Feeling good. She feeling good? She looking good now?
Mm-hmm. Glowing.
Wonderful. And we'll have more energy this next coming months
Oh yeah, plenty of
as the
energy.
changes are happening. And for the
And
full moon tonight, is there anything that we should be receiving or open to receiving?
you're both poised and ready and open. You may visit the Pyramid of Light, the Universal Pyramid of Light tonight. Good night to do that. Relate your love and intention, and you could talk about you could bring your project there
Okay.
to get feedback and to get blessings and downloads to aid you in that process.
And one quick check-in. How are her kids doing? How are the girls?
So another landslide, lots of landslide movement, releasing of deep, heavy energy, and just like the spring, the beautiful
The
crispness,
beautiful
clearness of
green.
color, the smell, the green, the softness of a petal of a flower against the freezing cold snow,
Oh
growth
yes, the snowdrops
alongside.
and crocus and daffodils
Yes,
all coming up. Tulips.
that sort of beauty, that sort of energy is very much associated with these two beautiful girls, and their growth is supported and watched over and blessed.
Beautiful. Okay. And are there ashrams that Beth or I should go to
Oh,
in the next upcoming months?
we're getting the one in the Buddhist one, the one in Canada. There's one in Canada. There's one. There's Hawaii for you.
Okay.
There's one in like the Middle East for Beth. It's like Romania, or is it Göbekli Tepe?
Is there anything else that we need to do for our third eye to be?
Keep bathing it in the violet flame, letting the violet flame cleanse and clear every day, multiple times if you feel it. It's always one of the great gifts from Saint Germain and the Ascended Masters. Bathe in the light of Source, connect with Source, realize that the Ascended Masters are just an extension of Source. To reach out to all of these beings is a way of reaching out to Source, connecting with Source. All the beautiful manifestation aspects of Source are available to us every day in the very simple things and the very grand and complex things.
Thank you for reminding us of that. And then one last question. I currently have my resume out for an opportunity. Is this an opportunity that I am manifesting?
Yes, yeah, we're seeing a bright light. We're seeing kind of like a car moving forward, a very big, expansive, fancy car moving smoothly forward, very competent, very stable. Yes, this is a good way of moving forward, is what we're seeing. It could be a vehicle to another position, a vehicle to another way of living. It's niggling you. It's like those things that annoy you enough to like make you blow up and leave.
Yes. That's what I wondered. And then my body responds because I'm always, my tenseness in my body is being aggravated. And so, can you assist with my right shoulder, just like relaxing
Yes,
it and offering it forgiveness as I appreciate my body for the long work and the long hours as I've been in this 3D situation. And
yes, of Lemurian, of female energy, of healing, of softness and ease and deep, intense, intelligent feeling, so much compassion. The feminine is entering where you've had to pull yourself through a masculine, very, very challenging.
thank you. I feel the peace of that. And is there anything else that you need to give Beth before I bring her back?
The same Lemurian gentleness all throughout the spinal column, her center torso, the thing that's holding up her family. We're going to soften and put a flower in her mind to keep away the ruminations of the distress she feels about her divorce and the dissolution of her family. The peace that will occur. Place a beautiful flower there, as well as a beautiful flower in your shoulder and where your hip, where you released the sword today. We're also placing floral blessing, gentleness, beauty, lovely smell. As you move, you can sense of the smell, feelings, very bit of pleasantness, very soft, moist, warm, growth, very beautiful. And funnily enough, that she laid out a tea party for her and her friends, and in the meantime,
Oh,
the children came in and gobbled it all up.
well, she's such
they,
a
they, they
she's
assumed it
such
was for them.
aw,
So cute.
she's such a gracious host. I'm certain that her friend will be happy with anything, even if it's just crackers and water.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You,
So thank you
yeah.
again, my love. I'm gonna let you go. I
Thank
know
you,
you've got
dear.
plans. All right. Kisses. Love you
Good
too.
job.
Bye.
Good job.
Thank
Bye,
you.
bye, bye, bye. Bye.